Hey folks, welcome back. It's Dominique back with you, your hostess with the mostest, today at least, because I've got a really great, foolproof, fail-proof, red flag identifier for you to identify literally any sociopath, narcissist, or other cluster B individual in your path. And guess what? It is so easy to do. It's so easy to do covertly that nobody will ever know that you are, in fact, testing the person in front of you to see if they're a cluster B disordered individual. They'll never know. So what, you might ask, is this novel piece of advice, this amazing, awesome, foolproof, wonderful, easily done red flag identifier? Well, guess what? It's extremely simple. When you meet somebody who you are, concerned might be a cluster B disordered individual, or who you might be trying to kind of rule out as a problem personality type, maybe you are interviewing somebody for a job, maybe you're looking to possibly make friends with somebody, to possibly see if you're going to want to start a dating or otherwise romantic or sexual relationship with somebody. Maybe you're looking to partner with somebody in a volunteer effort of some sort. Well, I've got your answer right here for how to identify whether they are a problem personality type, whether they are on the cluster B spectrum, which again, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, cluster B personality disorders include psychopathy, which is generally referred to by many as sociopathy, narcissism, histrionic personality disorder, and borderline personality disorders. So cluster B personality disorders are dangerous, they are incurable, and they just wreak absolute havoc and cause extreme devastation for anybody in that person's path. So it's always best to avoid an individual like this. So what do you do to identify them? Well, when you're with them, when you're in front of them, you got to make sure that they see you doing this. You yawn. Simple, right? Easily done. And of course, as some of you know, the reflex to yawn back when we see somebody yawn at us is an empathetic reflex. Now, of course, a sociopath, narcissist, or other cluster B disordered individual could, learn how to yawn back. They could learn how to yawn at somebody, but do it a couple of times while you're sitting there. No, I'm not suggesting that you look as if you're extremely bored by what they're saying and yawn and rub your eyes and look off into space, because that would simply be rude, and even a normally functioning person might think you're kind of a jackass if you do that. So don't do that. But covertly, while catching their eye, yawn a couple of times while you're talking to them. And if they don't yawn back, folks, this is a reflex that is, again, based in empathy. So if they don't yawn back, there is a problem with that person that indicates that there is an empathy deficit with them. I defy you to not yawn when you see somebody yawn in front of you that's physically with you. You are not going to be able to stop yourself. It's a reflex. But somebody with an empathy or compassion deficit is not going to have that reflex. So there is your major, foolproof, number one, grade A, works all the time, easily done, covert, 100% foolproof way to discern whether somebody is a narcissist, a sociopath, or another cluster B disordered individual. Now again, I'm not going to suggest that because they didn't yawn back, one time, that they're definitely Kaputski and you need to just discard them and kick them to the curb immediately, right? We're not going to go there. So use your common sense, exercise good judgment, etc., etc. I think this is a pretty darn obvious PSA, but I feel that being a responsible practitioner of wellness profession and mental health profession, I feel that it's my duty to kind of let you know to not discard everybody in your life because they didn't yawn back at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that if you're looking to get to know somebody, or if you're, a new person that you may be working with, or as I said, looking to date or looking to befriend or partner up with for a project or what have you, this is a great way to kind of test them out, see what their empathy reflexes are like without being really obvious about it. I mean, you could also ask that, really great question that will really trap and really stump a narcissist, sociopath, or other cluster B disordered individual just to be safe. And that question, of course, is, how do you feel that you could improve yourself? How do you feel that you could grow and improve as a person? Now, I'd say if you pair that with the yawning technique a couple of times throughout the conversation, you are going to really have an ironclad, foolproof yes or no as to whether this person is a cluster B problem individual. Most problem personality types are either cluster B or on the cluster B spectrum, right? So whether you're dealing with a sociopath, whether you're dealing with an actual psychopath, whether you're dealing with a narcissist, a histrionic person, or somebody who struggles with borderline personality disorder, you are definitely going to find that this person is on the cluster B spectrum if you do the yawning trick, which again is totally foolproof in and of itself. And if you go ahead and you ask them, hey, how could you improve yourself as a person? As we've talked about before in my podcasts and my videos, somebody who is on the cluster B spectrum would answer that latter question with something like, well, I would climb Mount Kilimanjaro again. I would go deep sea diving, and I would dive all the way to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Because obviously, as you know, I was the first person to dive that, and I did it without oxygen. They're not going to say anything constructive. They're going to give you like a Deepak Chopra type of platitude that sounds like something but really isn't. They're going to say something like, well, I would continue improving my yoga inversion skills. Here, look at my Instagram account. Look at all these yoga pictures. I know, #blessed, right? So they're going to pull something like that on you. They're not going to say, as I've brought up before, they're not going to say, I would apologize to this person that I hurt very deeply. I would go back to, an individual from high school or junior high who I, bullied, for instance, in my life. One thing I would love to do is apologize to the girl that I bullied in junior high school, along with my friend group who unfortunately died after that, many years after that. That wasn't the direct cause, but I would go back and remember one of my best friend's birthdays before she took her own life. I would apologize to the man that I broke up with in a way that was not as respectful as I could have been. Right? So these are the kinds of things we would say. We would say something like, for future reference or for future self-improvement, we might say something like, I want to improve my active listening skills. I want to stop interrupting people. I want to be a better mom, a better dad. I want to give a listening ear to my family. I want to go to my mom's house and help her out with more projects around the house. I want to read a book a week and start getting back to myself a little bit. Even an answer like that is totally appropriate, totally indicative of the possession of and appropriate utilization of empathy and compassion. But, it's easy to weed people who are on the cluster B spectrum out by asking them that extremely simple question and by employing that yawn test. So folks, I really hope this helps you. We're going to keep this one short today. Let me know what your experiences are if you tried either of these techniques out, particularly the yawning technique. This is something I've tried myself, and it really does work. It really does work. So let me know in the comments section here and or on my Facebook or YouTube profiles what your experiences have been. And as always, keep yourself safe and well and healthy and happy, and have a wonderful cluster B free, toxic individual free day and night. All right, guys, be with you again soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.